Today on Locked On Rockies, we look at the latest Ryan Feltner start as the spring numbers aren't pretty. Plus, nearly 20% of the Locked On MLB top 100 players are in the NL West. That's the standard the Rockies have to reach.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 11th day of March in the year 2026. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, you're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Rockies' loss to the Reds and some numbers that are starting to worry me a little bit about Ryan Feltner. Plus, we'll talk about the high level of standard that the NL West has created yet again. Plus, one bold prediction from MLB.com. Can Charlie Condon be the Rookie of the Year? We'll talk about what that would mean for the Rockies, all on today's episode. Before we do that, I want to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Your support has helped make us the #1 sports podcast in the world. So we appreciate that. And also, of course, if you don't know who I am, if you're tuning in for the first time, I am Paul Holden. I am your Rockies fan extraordinaire. Been bringing you this daily Rockies talk for over 6 seasons now. That means hundreds of episodes with you, the Rockies fans, going through the ups, the downs, and everything in between of Colorado Rockies baseball. Today's episode is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLB.theshow or MLBthe.show / locked on and use code locked on to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now, available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. So I don't want to overly panic about spring training. We've talked about this a few times, and we've seen Ryan Feltner be a better pitcher. We've seen him battle injuries. We've seen some issues. I just don't like the fact that we haven't really seen a clean couple of innings from Ryan Feltner. Now, a handful here and there. I'm saying through each start. We're seeing earned runs. We're seeing multiple earned runs. We're seeing some strikeouts, which is always a good sign. But I'm glad that Warren Schaefer is still confident, speaking after the game, talking about the Rockies starter attacking the zone. All well and dandy, but I just worry. It's spring numbers. We'll flush him down the toilet here in 2 weeks. I got that. But it's just when you're looking at this point of stuff that might concern you, this concerns me, especially when you're talking about a guy that's competing for the 5th spot in this rotation for the Rockies here. 11.81 ERA going into the game against the Reds. Mind you, 5 innings worth of work in spring so far. He's allowed 5 hits with 7 earned runs, 6 walks. That's really the big stuff here. Where the Rockies' focus and philosophy here at spring has been attack the zone, attack the zone, attack the zone. And it's a bummer to see 6 walks to 8 strikeouts here. I'm happy that there's 8 strikeouts and 5 1/3 here. That's a good sign. That's a nice number there when it comes to strikeouts. But it's the free passes and the stuff that I know will sink Feltner in the year. I know it will sink any Rockies pitcher, but the problem and the issue with the Rockies players that they have drafted and have tried to develop through their system, and obviously I know this is a different story, the first time that we're having this new look and these new philosophies and all that stuff. These are a little bit of the red flags for me. And then unfortunately you go into the game against the Reds, 3 innings worth of work. So he's nearly doubling, basically more than doubling the innings pitched going into this appearance. Gives up to the 6 hits and the 3 earned runs, but puts up a 0 on the walks, which is always a good sign. 4 strikeouts in there as well. So there's good and the bad. And like we said, it's encouraging that the manager likes what he's seeing, at least out of Feltner. And we know the approach going into the into spring is like we've talked about all throughout they're working on stuff. They're tinkering on this. I just would like to see a not a crooked number for a Feltner appearance here in spring. And it very well might happen as things continue to work and continue to go through it. But that's one of those things where I'm keeping an eye out there, because I do wonder what that means. What do these spring numbers mean for that fifth spot in the rotation competition? I thought it was pretty well. I thought bearing, a great spring from somebody out, a Dollander or a Senza, basically, right? That Feltner had this pretty much locked up. I mean, this was a situation where he was going to be, I thought it was really his to lose. And I'm not saying that so far he's lost it. It's just, I'd like to start seeing that, like we talked about. I can't remember when it was, if it was yesterday or the day before. It's time for things to start sharpening up a little bit, especially as the pitchers are going to start going longer. We got 3 innings from Feltner today, with going in with the 5 1/3 going in there. So obviously he's on the bump a little bit longer, and things are ramping up. So I'm just hoping as we see those ramp up, continue to see the walks down, take down, limit those damage dealing hits, and keep it up with the strikeouts. The strikeouts I'm still very encouraged by. And I think it's something that's great to see from Feltner there, adding the 4 strikeouts to his total here in spring. 12 strikeouts now in 8 innings worth of work, 8 1/3. I'll take that. That's a good sign and a good thing there. I think like we've said multiple times, the strikeout has to be a factor this year for Rockies pitching. It has to be a one of their weapons and one of the things that they're able to turn to. A couple of other headlines here from the Rockies losing 8-1 to the Reds. Out hit 13-5. The Reds, 3 errors in there too. It's been interesting a couple of times this spring, in spring training. So again, the Rockies have lost kind of on considerably, despite the opposition having games where they commit multiple errors there. But really not a good showing from the offense. TJ Rumfield picking up a hit. Brenton Doyle DHing in this game, picking up a hit as well. But good to see Doyle back on the field, obviously. We were talking with the injury there. Kyle Karros adding a hit and a walk in this one, as well as he continues to be in a good spot. Ryan Ritter picking up another hit and was the one that drove in the RBI. And Charlie Condon picking up a hit as well. Tyler Freeman, Hunter Goodman hitless in this one, as well as Jake McCarthy and Chad Stevens, in case you're looking for some of the names there. Jimmy Herget allowed 3 runs in his inning worth of work off of 2 hits with a strikeout. Tanner Gordon, an earned run. Every Rockies pitcher allowing at least 1 run, but Tanner Gordon in 4 innings worth of work. 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts on 3 hits, no walks. That's a pretty darn good appearance right there for Tanner Gordon. So bummer, it's a loss. It was the Rockies didn't put up much in that one, but it is what it is. It's another spring training game, as hopefully things are on the move and looking on the up and up there on as the real regular season gets close. Are you worried by any of the warning signs? Are you seeing some warning signs with Rockies players, or are you worried about the high ERA and whip of Ryan Feltner through not even 10 innings worth of pitching in spring training? Let me know why. Let me know if you're not. Let me know if you think it's an overreaction. All in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section down below. All right. I want to talk a little bit about this here, and let's start into the conversation here before we go into the break. Is it possible that Charlie Condon wins Rookie of the Year? It's a bit of a stretch here, and the author of this piece also kind of acknowledging that, but Will Leach here says, who will win awards in 26? Here are the top contenders in each division. So here's the intro to the piece. Every player wants to build a legacy. The best way to do this is win a World Series. You'll be welcomed back with love to your city for the rest of your life if you win one of those. But the other route to immortality is to win an award. Every baseball you sign from then on can have a little MVP or ROY next to it forever. Your place in baseball history is secured. Thus, as part of our ongoing season preview series, we look at the best award candidates from every division. These are players most likely to etch their names in the baseball annals for decades to come. We're sticking here to the 4 major Baseball Writers of Association of America awards: MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and Manager of the Year. And there's no more than one candidate per team. So that could be the factor here as they're looking in. But if you scroll on down to the NL West here, the predictions here: Shohei Ohtani, the MVP, Logan Webb, the Cy Young, and then here, Charlie Condon. And here's this. This is obviously an awfully ambitious pick, but he's been mashing the ball this spring, and the Rockies don't really have a first baseman right now. Why not give the kid a shot? So I pose that question to you. Why not give him a shot? Well, the Rockies got an option in TJ Rumfield, and with that, does that mean that they would a platoon plan be part of the option? Is Charlie Condon going to break camp with the team, and what would that mean for his Rookie of the Year candidacy? Probably, certainly would not help, right? You know, when you kind of think of those, you think about rookies that play basically a full season at the major league level. But this would be, talk about a total momentum shift game changer for the Rockies to have a power hitting first baseman that plays at the level of the best rookie in the National League. That would be a huge step in the right direction for the Colorado Rockies. If the Rockies got a Rookie of the Year quality season out of Charlie Condon, I mean, that's a needle mover. That raises the eyebrows, and it's cool to see that this is even entertained as a possibility. It's 2 sentences, if that, on an MLB preview network thing, right? Obviously, there's not a lot to write home about that. But Charlie Condon's been doing enough over the past few months to start having people pay attention to him. And now, if he can finish the spring strong, continue what he's been doing, there is going to be a case for him to be the first baseman for the Colorado Rockies. But would it be a mistake if the Rockies don't go with that? Let's talk about that coming up next in segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds, and I've reached the point in my life where my wife and I are looking toward the future. We've got the house, we've got the career, we even have an awesome dog, but now we need to secure that future. That's where Ethos comes in for us. When I look at this insurance or that insurance and I try to pick one, I might as well be reading an entirely different language. Ethos clears up the noise and gets me set up with exactly what I need, because Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and it's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockedonmlb. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockedonmlb. That's ethos.com/lockedonmlb, ethos.com/lockedonmlb. Application times and rates may vary.
We are also brought to you by Gametime. MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie or a division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem, getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's where there's Gametime. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. And that's one of the things that gives me confidence every single time I use Gametime. But, that 100% authentic ticket, those upfront prices, they're great. My personal favorite part of Gametime, seeing my seat before I buy, knowing where I'm going to sit, knowing what my view looks like, knowing what part of the stadium is. I can't argue with a great deal, with a great seat, with a great view. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats and minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit a game. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Back at it here for segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. Reminder, folks, you gotta hang out with us in the Everydayer Club, and now is the time. Again, you get ad-free shows and access to our group chat on Discord, and if you're signed up before the NCAA tournament tips off, you can get into our Everydayer Club bracket pool on Discord for a chance to win Locked On merch. Should be a lot of fun. Right now, you can use code MARCH to get your first month free. Head to lockedonrockies.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes and use code MARCH to get your first month of ad-free audio free. All right, so asking the question, why not give Charlie Condon the start? And it's like we talked about. Why not? You could easily go for it. You handed the keys over to Ezekiel Tovar when he was young, and you believed in him. Why not do the same for Charlie Condon? Because you have a guy in TJ Rumfield that could be one of the more intriguing, one of the more sneaky and efficient and positive moves for the Colorado Rockies. And you have, it's not, I don't think it's a matter it's not the approach, life or death, that Condon has to make the roster and has to be there right away, or else it's going to ruin everything that he's done. But I think that we have now, the argument has been mostly made. The statement has been mostly made, and there's still a couple of weeks of spring to hammer home the point. But the reality is Charlie Condon is going to be playing first base for the Rockies at some point. And if he can continue at the pace that he's going to be, and if he does break camp with the Rockies, I think there is a world he can win Rookie of the Year. Obviously, it has to go well, but if the Rockies got a Rookie of the Year out of their first baseman who mashes and is an offensive threat and help boosts this Rockies offense and is able to play quality defense at first base, that's something the Rockies haven't had in dang near a decade. The Rockies' first base post Todd Helton has been a nightmare. A nightmare. So if you have a guy that goes out and breaks out into a Rookie of the Year, that would send shockwaves of excitement. That would really that would be a jolt, because if we're talking it all goes well, everything works out perfectly, everything goes, you couldn't ask for it better as a Rockies fan. The possibilities of this lineup include a Rookie of the Year first baseman, a Gold Glove, a shortstop that hits for hits for extra base hits, a Gold Glove center fielder that also can steal bases and hit for power, and an all-star silver slugging hitting catcher. Those are the things of the pieces of a foundation that start to build and form to get you excited as a Rockies fan. But unfortunately, hoping that all of that happens, hoping that everything goes perfect, is wishful thinking. It's living in a fairy tale. It's not going to happen. But the possibility is there, and the intrigue is there as well. I just wonder if TJ Rumfield has done enough to make the case to be the starter, and for Charlie to have his case later on. But if Charlie wins Rookie of the Year, if first base becomes a pro for the Rockies instead of a negative, it'll be a massive development for the club. Huge win. So yes, could it happen? Sure. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Would love to be wrong on that one. Certainly. All right. I wanted to touch on this a little bit as well from the Locked On MLB Top 100. We talked about the Rockies not having anybody in there, and talk about the Rockies and not being not getting the love from the Locked On Network. But I just want to highlight something here about the National League West, because as we're talking about Charlie Condon taking steps in the right direction, as we're talking about hopefully the Rockies building a foundation with guys that are going to compete, In order to compete with the NL West, you have to produce multiple high-level players through acquisition or through development. And I think this list kind of hammers home the point and the issues of the Rockies' development issues, especially when you compare them to the National League West. Let's talk about that coming up next here on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Indeed, workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check out all your boxes. Less stress, less time, and more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. We are also brought to you by MLB The Show 26. The greatest game in baseball is back with its newest installment, and baseball fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from the game. Hey, if you want Charlie Condon to win the Rookie of the Year, why not take control of Charlie and the Rockies in MLB The Show and take the franchise to their first ever World Series title? Or put yourself through the ringer and go through the challenges of going from college to the minors to the big show with the Road to the Show. You can see it all for yourself and check out all the awesome gameplay of MLB The Show when you pick up a copy here coming up on March 17th. If you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new, exciting way, you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBThe.show/LockedOn and use code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection is required. Pre-order now. MLB The Show 26, available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. Locked On Rockies here, wrapping things up on today's episode of the show. Remember, love hearing what you have to say. Love hearing what's on your mind, Rockies fans. Let me know in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section. Best way to get on the show, best way to be part of the show, firing off those Rockies hot takes in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section. So, in case you missed it, the MLB Network's Top 100 Ball Players is out. It's out on socials. It's out on the Locked On MLB channel. Go check it out. You can go see the full list for yourself and where the players are ranked. But it was interesting as I was doing the numbers, as the Rockies have 0 members on the top 100 list. I was like, all right, well, how about the NL West? And this was not a surprising number, but it's a number that hammers home the point that I've said time and time again, especially when the Rockies match up against the National League West during the season. The Rockies' failure to develop players and turn them into MLB quality talent is one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason why they're in the situation they're in, let alone the decisions of the roster building, the picks that they've made, and just the evaluation of those players in general. It all kind of falls together. But in the top 100 players as voted on by the Locked On hosts, 18 players from the National League West were in there, including multiple in the top 10, multiple in the top 25, multiple in the upper half of the top 50, especially when you're talking about the Dodgers in this case. But when you have 18 players out of a list of 100, that's a significant percentage of players in one division. 18%, nearly 20%, nearly a fifth of the top 100 players in baseball. Man, I'm really doing. I feel embarrassed. I'm judging myself in my head about my quick math. Yeah, it's a multiple of 100. Come on, it's the easy math. What am I doing? But my point is, it's not just these teams and teams throughout all of baseball. I mean, there's plenty of examples of teams that have multiple guys on this list. But it's the entire division having multiple players that rank in the as the best in the business. If you're top 100 in baseball, you're the best players in baseball. That at least if you ask me. And for you to have nearly 20% of those 100 of top 100 players be in this division, that's the standard. That's the level of competition. That's the floor. If you want to compete with these guys, you need to roll with, you need to be able to compete with these elite ball players. So in our top 100, 7 Dodgers made it, 4 Padres made it, 4 Giants made it, 3 Diamondbacks made it. So again, it's not that, hey, there's just 1 or 2 guys on some of these squads. No, it's every single one of your divisional opponents has multiple top 100 players on it, mixed in with the rest of their roster of average to above average, especially when it depends on what roster you're looking at. That's the NL West standard. The Rockies are the exception to the rule here. The Rockies, again, are the exception. The NL West has long established itself as one of the best divisions in baseball with some of the most consistently competitive teams in baseball, except for the Colorado Rockies. And so it's again, this is not a surprise. This is not a shock, but it's just another one of those data points that hammers home the fact and the issues of how bad the Rockies were at developing their picks and their players and their acquisitions into high-level MLB talent. That's what this new era has to be better at. It can be Moneyball. It can be this. It can be whatever. But they have to be able to draft players and turn them into high-level talent. When you are a team like the Rockies and you have been given as many high picks as you've been given, and you have failed to develop those players as often as they have, that's a tremendous issue, and that's something that we won't know if it's been fixed until a few years down the line and a few years operating under the new management and the new organizational structure. But when I see that, it just really hammers home the point of how far behind the Rockies have been and how unsuccessful they were in their development endeavors for what feels like forever. Honestly. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. Hang out with us on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. I want to know what's on your mind. I want to hear what you got to say. Best way to support the show as well is by checking us out there on YouTube, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, posting those comments there. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB and the Back to the Bullpen podcast, also available on Locked On MLB. Plus, we got you covered in a busy time for Colorado sports. Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, and Locked On Buffs, all free and streaming and on YouTube as well. Go check it out there. All available free and streaming as well. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.